Hi there, and welcome to the ShareTree virtual demo. My name is Stephen Ferrugia, and I'm the founder and CEO of ShareTree. In the next 15 minutes, I want to take you on a bit of a discovery and a journey about the background of ShareTree, the experiences and the research that we've done that have helped us form the world's leading technology about creating meaningful and engaged team cultures. You see, ShareTree is all about educating organisations and individuals about the power of character and what role that plays in our lives. It's about engaging team cultures so that they make authentic and meaningful connections every single day that's founded in the practice of gratitude. And lastly, about empowering organisations to activate your purpose, your meaning, and connect that meaning to the people within your organisation so that you can have an impact on their lives, their sense of drive, and the overall impact in your community. So our purpose and passion at ShareTree is all about improving mental health, well-being, and performance in organisational cultures, and we do that using science, training, and technology. We're a fully registered charity, which means that the profits we make from the services and improvements we provide your organisations all go back to community benefit. And we are charity as a service. So we are not into begging for funds. We make meaningful impacts that drive higher performance in any organisation. And from the profits and improvements you make, we receive a fee for service engagement. And those funds go back to community benefit. So my background's out of engineering. We started a global successful consultancy agency more than 17 years ago. And during that process, we studied 47 companies over a 10-year period to understand what drivers create sustainable success factors. In that process, we were quite interested to know, and we measured industry, budget, duration, size of the organisation, mindset, the culture of the org, the strategic approach taken, the facilitator's experience, and the knowledge transfer method. And the only two things that had meaningful correlation to sustaining success in an organisation's growth were the mindset of leadership and the culture of a team. And that little kink in the culture of team actually came from the mindset of leadership. The minor contributors, and very minor, are the duration of focused effort, the strategic approach that was taken, so things like Lean, Six Sigma, and Agile, and lastly, the knowledge transfer method. So a structured and strategic approach helped heighten the outcome. But without these primaries, the right mindset in your leadership and the right culture in your team, all the other outcomes were never achieved. So I've sat on many boards, and I've advised in hundreds of strategic boards and directors. Revenue and profit is what really drives any organisation, even if you're a charitable one. So charitable organisations try and generate funds and convert them to meaningful impact. Profitable organisations try and generate revenue and convert it to meaningful profit. So anyone that's ever been on a board knows these are the key KPIs of an organisation. But what really drives both your growth in revenues and funds and your conversion to profit and impact is only people and culture. People and culture are the drivers of all of your outcomes. You could have the most automated systems in the world. It's still people and culture that create that engagement, that innovation, that customer service, and that outcome. So how do we measure people and culture? It's the question I've been asked for more than a decade. So in our research to understand what actually makes up culture, we studied more than 12 systems: Maslow's hierarchy of needs, spiral dynamics, NLP, values pendulum, human energy systems, and many more. And what we found was a common system of 7 in all. And that's about feeling safe, feeling supported, feeling accomplished, feeling valued, feeling free, feeling evolved, and feeling meaningful. And it kind of makes sense. When you understand what makes up a culture, it's the collective of people. And what the culture need is the needs of humans in their normal evolution cycle. So ShareTree did further research. We took 120 character traits and we mapped them to this culture need. And we found that they came out into 12 groups. Predominantly, these are the performance-based attributes of character, and these are the moral-based attributes to character. And it's about finding balance and meaning for the culture that suits your organization in alignment to your purpose and to your vision and to who the people are that are within your org. So determination, as an example, is part of the courage group. And it links back to a culture about creating a sense of feeling accomplished. And it links back to the human evolution cycle about feeling significant and a sense of achievement. So what is the cost of culture? It's the $1 million question that I get often. Culture, through the team culture engagement surveys that we've been using in the last 4 years, it really comes at a cost. And there's 2 costs to that. The engagement of our team, the way that they engage with the work that they do in high quality and meaningful quality outcomes, and also the turnover of our staff. So engagement and attrition. What we saw in the small cost, which is attrition, that a 10% disengagement of staff amount over 100 people amounted to around $500,000 cost a year to replace that talent. And typically, if your culture is in decline, it's your talent that leaves first. So you can scale that up. If it's $100, 100 people is $500,000. On 1,000 people, you're talking about 5 million. On 10,000 people, 50 million. On 100,000 people, you're talking about $500 million, just on 10% disengagement. So imagine it's 20, 30, 40. So the most important thing is to understand how engaged is your team at the moment, where are the engagement strengths, defend them, where are the engagement gaps. So why does talent quit? If we look at those reasons during culture, there's a whole range of reasons why talent quit. Limited career development, don't feel valued and appreciated, poor leadership engagement, values and purpose misalignment, stressed and overworked, they want more money, and career change. Most people think that wanting more money is really the driver, but it's not. It's typically 3 core things. So performance in your team comes from 3 key elements: how engaged the team is, what is their talent that they've developed, and how long do they stay there and serve your organization. And the 3 key things that really are driving people to leave are these: not feeling valued and appreciated, poor leadership engagement, and a lack of alignment to the values and the purpose. And in some cases, there's not even an opportunity to see that values and alignment piece. So, and the best thing is that these things are actually the lowest cost things to implement for an organization. So what role does helping people feel appreciated and practicing a mindset of gratitude play biologically? So our mind can't be stressed and grateful at the same time. And there's a biological reason for this. So when we are in a stressed state, it triggers our fight or flight response. And this turns on a chemical called cortisol. So cortisol is really useful if we're about to go into a fight, if we're going into a war zone, or we're running away from something like a bear. But the majority of the time, we don't want to be in this stress state. The best state to be in is gratitude. So a gratitude mindset creates a flood of hormones and peptides through the body. So dopamine, which is our reward hormone, and it gives us a sense of drive and winning. Oxytocin, which is the love hormone, it makes us feel like we belong and that we are part of something greater than ourselves. Endorphins, which is the calm hormone, and peptide, which is where innovation is and great insight. And this is something that flows through your body when you do other things like meditation and exercise. And serotonin. So serotonin is the willpower neurotransmitter. So teams strive to be resilient, and they focus on resilience as an activity, are actually missing the mark. If you want to build a resilient team and a holistic culture, then you focus on gratitude. Gratitude is scientifically proven to be the only character trait out of the 120 that we have in our system that release all 4 of these chemical cocktails. So can you imagine going to a football game and reserving your cheer to the halftime mark and the end of the game? And the reason why I use this analogy is because so many organizations have 1 or 2 performance reviews a year, and they leave cheering all the hard work that those people have done for your organization to those 2 times. A football game's culture, its buzz, its excitement comes from the cheers that happen at every game played with every person in that game. And there's no reason why your culture can't be activated in the same way with just 5 minutes of invested time a day. So what are the components of culture? Culture is made up of 3 major things. The primary thing is purpose. Purpose attracts talent, and you don't have to look too far to find evidence of that. The most qualified and highest performing talent is attracted with 0 pay to charity organizations all the time. So purpose is really what drives people, and they're willing to sacrifice our most valuable commodity, which is time, to go out and make a meaningful difference in the world. So how do you get the purpose of your organization meaningful, communicated, and engaging with your team? The next component is leadership. Leadership and the mindset of leadership is what engages the team, and an engaged team is a high-performing team. So between the purpose and the leadership is really character. So understanding how to speak the language of character, engage in the character strengths of your team, and to recruit for character and culture fit are key elements to building high-performance team cultures. The third component is to be valued. Being valued is what retains the talent. So between our purpose and being valued is values themselves. How do we call out the character strengths and values that we see in others and see whether they're in alignment with our organizational aspirational culture? So between leadership and being valued is the mindset of gratitude and appreciation. So by calling out the strengths we see in others authentically every single day, we help people feel valued, seen, supported, and belonging to something bigger than themselves. So purpose attracts talent, leadership engages talent, and being valued is what retains talent. So what? So what about all of this that I'm talking about? Well, what are the current systems that we see in culture? And we've worked with hundreds of organizations. This is founded on real experience. They either don't exist, they are superficial, a pat on the back, well done Bob, well done Jane, and that's the end of it. And they don't go deep, they don't show vulnerability, and they don't form meaningful human connections. Or they're transactional. I give you a bonus, and that's actually the most costly method, the most used method in all the organizations we've ever worked with, but it's the least desired aspect. When we look at the 5 ways of being valued, it's being seen, being heard, being supported are the most desired ways of being valued. Being connected and then being valued, which is the least desired way of being valued, is unfortunately the most commonly used method though. So how do we activate a culture that brings about the things that people want in an effective science-based way? ShareTree's developed free technology. You can download this application now on your phones, and they're also a web application. It puts the purpose of an organization into the hands of every person so that they're all clear about why we do what we do. What is the meaningful impact that we want to have on society? It links your organization vision, not only the collective vision, but each department's vision, and you get a holistic view of your culture. And it also connects how your purpose is aligned to the UN Sustainable Goals. And it gives you opportunities then to go out and make a meaningful impact in the community. Now, how do we build authentic connections between the people now that they're purpose activated? Well, ShareTree Artificial Intelligence creates habits and routines for people to call out the character strengths that they see in each other every day. And that's a benefit to the sender, the receiver, and also the observer. So ShareTree is really about high impact, low volume interactions between people that is purely around culture. ShareTree is a look at you platform, whereas Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all these other platforms are more about look at me. So this is about extrinsic culture creation. So by acknowledging the character strength that we see in everyone around us every day, and by calling out the acts and the evidence of how we see that in action, it builds up people. And those character strengths aggregate on a tree that shows your living culture. And it shows you in the roots and the grain of your culture, what are the living strengths of your culture. You see, culture is nothing but the collective character of your people. So how do we build those habits and routines? So don't take our research for gospel, go and do your own research. So Gottman's positivity ratio did an extensive research about how do we create this gratitude mindset? How do we create thriving connections and relationships between people? And he found that the thriving, sustainable relationships have a ratio of more than 5 times positivity versus challenge. So ShareTree's built artificial intelligence to help people cultivate that routine and that mindset. They will set themselves up on a character growth exercise. It will remind them at the time that they choose. It will reflect upon what area they want to grow. Now, we know the power of gratitude, so we start your teams discovering the power of gratitude for themselves and building a mindset of gratitude. After each reflection, so they can either acknowledge themselves through gratitude journaling, they can acknowledge others within the team, they can acknowledge others outside of the team, or they can do a global post about someone that's inspired them or a reflection about something in their day. After that activity, they log their happiness. And at the end of 30 days, every team member of your team will get a report that shows how their happiness levels have been impacted. So what happens to your happiness when you practice gratitude in a routine every day and in an authentic way? Well, it increases. We've tracked hundreds of people that have completed the gratitude and character growth exercises, and what we see is a 2.8% increase in happiness every 30 days. But we also see that there's a greater resilience to dealing with a range of emotions. So people's average capacity to experience challenge in life increases. So we have a broader range of emotional awareness, emotional resilience, while on average our happiness increases. It's pretty amazing science, and it's all in a very simple practice. So what are the longitude impacts, you're probably thinking? What happens after 30 days? What if I keep doing this? When do I peak out? So we did a longitude study as well. So we've seen that about 4.2% increase is sustained in happiness every 3 months. And it peaks out close to 80% out of a peak happiness. The only way to go higher is things like exercise and meditation. So we see a shift from 21 to 38% happiness on average from people. So a 34% increase over 2 years, and then it's sustainable. So character appreciation improves both your performance and your social impacts. So there's impacts in life and there's impacts at your work. It helps improve through science the retention of your talent in the workplace. It increases innovation. It builds higher performance outcomes. It creates greater profits or greater impacts in charity organisations. It helps the well-being of people. And this is the myth we want to bust. Well-being goes hand in hand with performance. It creates holistic growth. So the benefits of strengthening one's character and working through character flow right through people's lives. They go back into the home environment. They go into the schools. They go into the community orgs and in the workplace. It helps build resilience within by focusing on gratitude and character strengths. It builds more authentic relationships between people through the acknowledgement of the strengths that we see in each other every day. And it helps get clear on what the living values of an organization are. So the most common thing people say about ShareTree is it takes their values off the wall that at best are gathering dust and brings them to life in every conversation and interaction between people. And most importantly, it activates the purpose of your organization and every person within it. So how do I get going? How do I understand that, where we are and where we need to head to? The process is simple. It starts by a team culture engagement survey. We understand what is the current level of engagement and what can we expect to see as a shift based on the programs that we've run previously. Then we draft up a strategic plan specific to your organization. Now, we have culture practitioners all around the world. You might hear my Australian accent, but we've got certified practitioners that are in most countries all across the planet, and they're growing every single month. So there are specialists that will be supported by us to help you deploy your programs. We also develop in-house programs for your own team. So if you're a large enough organization, then we can skill your team to be sustainable and roll this out for yourselves. Then once you have your culture in the place that you want it to be, then it's about sustaining the culture. So we've also developed technology to recruit for character strengths based on culture fit. It's a world first, and we don't understand why it's taken people so long to discover how important character is. Let me ask you this question. If you wanted to recruit and you had the choice between strengths in competency and strengths in character, what's more important to you? 99% of people say character is more important because competencies can be developed within short cycle. And in fact, great character strengths are the fuel and the root of great competency outcomes. So why do people recruit primarily through competency alone? Our system helps you recruit based on the character strengths and how they fit into your culture and the values that you strive for. So there's a few ways that we can engage together. If you have more interest in this, I suggest we meet in person, but professional enterprise solutions is one pathway. We can develop skills within your own team. If you're an individual consultant, you might be interested in adding our technologies, our solutions as part of your toolkit. And we have a program called the Character and Culture Practitioner. It's a fully certified program to international standards. And we also have partner integration. So if you are a large enterprise, we can build solutions that integrate into your existing systems and technologies. So I'd love to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to sit with me through this presentation. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you want to put gratitude into practice in a very community way, feel free to join our Facebook Growing Gratitude community. Or I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with you in an authentic discovery that's suited exactly to your needs. So just use this QR code, make a connection, book a time, and I look forward to meeting you.